Hola everyone. Trying to wake up a little bit because I had my second cup of coffee, but I think I can function. This is a continuation of what I was doing on the 11 year solar cycle and also the GMS events. GMS stands for geomagnetic storms. And I was showing on the short clip the proof of how it worked with my formulas, which I'll show you in a while how the formula works, and I'll go through that step by step. But before I can get to the formulas, need to understand the steps that I'm using, the charts that I'm using, the process that I'm using, so you could understand that I'm actually using ancient traditional modern scientific approach to coming up with my results. I don't know if that makes any sense. Back to the ancient future.
So it's basically what your work is completely based on an indigenous paradigm that is not based on a Western world framework,
But then it's
but you're connecting
connecting.
it, you're correlating it.
So the
Okay.
Western world, and the rest of us world Indians out there could understand it. Because nobody knows how to read the 13 calendar except you and me and Tracy, and that's pretty much it. Well, the way we read it here.
Well,
Outside of
and
that,
and, and
you
my
ask any other
students, there's I was
Indians,
going to say
they go,
there's about 50.
260-day sacred calendar. Oh, no, isn't that a little short for a year? That's the usual
Well,
response.
I did have about 40 to 50 students this past semester. I taught them
Oh,
how
yeah.
to read the sacred calendar and how
Thanks
to
for reminding me.
extrapolate the long count calendar from
We
that.
are teaching the students
High school
at
students,
Del
yeah.
Norte, and it's at the Native Studies class, and it's just not Native students. It's open up to the non-Native faculty, teachers, non-Native students, or anybody that's
Oh, yeah.
available at the time
Yeah.
to go and see there. So, well, we're not discriminating.
Yeah,
if
we
you
have a
wanna
New
learn.
Mexico history teacher who's been coming to that class.
Back for giving a shameless plug to Del Norte. Okay, we're going to start here with what year we're in. I'm going to come back over here a little bit, and I'll come back to the light because this you couldn't see without having the light. So you need. I saw blinded by the light, or I saw the light, or whatever that is.
So
Okay.
this is the year count, the long count calendar, which is you can extrapolate from the 260-day calendar.
This is the correlation that we did to the Gregorian and to the ancient 260-day sacred calendar year count to the Gregorian. One rabbit here is the year that we're in, which stands for the year that we started one rabbit in. 25 is kind of misleading because it should be 25-26 because it starts in November of 2025 and it goes to November of 2026.
All my students know that we're in the year one rabbit.
Okay, so that's understood. That's 25-26 basically
Right.
because it's,
Yeah.
It's
So
a
it's
whole year.
basically 3 months or
So-
2 months of 2025, and then the rest of the year is 2026.
And that's why we're in one rabbit here. That's what we're going to start with. Now that we know that's one rabbit, now we're going to find rabbit here and one rabbit there. One rabbit.
Yep.
One rabbit. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down for a second. If I need it in a little while, I can bring it back up. Now that we know that we are starting here on this one rabbit here, I'm going to show you how I come up with my calculations by using the sacred calendar. When you go to one rabbit, you go to 8 rabbit to continue the count. Because if you go 7, 7, you got to go this way, this way, this way, this way. But if you go 1 and there's nowhere to go that way, you got to go back over here. So when you go back over here, that is 8 rabbit. See now where 8 rabbit is? This is important because the reason I'm showing everybody this, because it's showing you the second to the last 11-year solar cycle before the cycle ends. And it's weird because I'm showing it where it goes to. And I'll show you in a second here. When you hook that 8 and you diagonally do the cross section to it, it takes you right to 13th flower at the end of the sacred calendar. And it starts all over again in one alligator. which really is intriguing because it's the only place where it does it. And it's right after what we started in 1 rabbit, and this is his 8 rabbit. So what does it have to do with what we're doing and what I'm doing? Well, when I went to 8 rabbit, I start looking for sequences of numbers that are going in a numerical order. In other words, numbers that are going like 1, 2, 3, or 5, 6, 7, 8, or in that area. So I went down and I went from 8. First one I saw was 11, and then the next one I saw, where's 13? Is 12. But this over here, and then the other numerical order is 13. They're about 104 days apart. If you want to use the calendar to calculate them, it's 105 to 11 to 12 to 13, 105 days basically. So it's telling me that there's something's going to be occurring on the 11th, on 12 eagle, and on 13 flower. And I went over to find out what is 11 dog. So I went to our calculations to finding out what 11 dog was. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, there it is. 8 rabbit. There we go. 8 rabbit, I mean. Now, this is where I can take that off here. 8 rabbit. 8 rabbit. Now, if you see that 8 rabbit, it corresponds to 2026 on the 10-year solar storm chart. 8, 3, see where I'm going now? 11, see that little line, that little arrow there, where 11 is? Why did I put that 11 there? On 11 dog, which corresponds to January 3rd, 2026, a geomagnetic storm started.
So there was a coronal mass ejection, is what you're saying.
That's the one that everybody that caught them off guard because it came in on New Year's Eve, and they had about 3 days to calculate when it was going to arrive. I could have told them by showing them this.
Yeah, because usually when the sun has a solar flare, like a X class, like a large one, it takes about 3 to 4 days to get to Earth. We see it within 8 minutes.
So this little thing tells me that if there's a geomatic storm there at these numerical events, there's probably more likely going to be one on the 12th and on this 13 over here. See how they're going in numerical order? But we'll get to that in a second here. I'll go down and order how this works. 11 dog, the next one is 6 monkey. See? 6 monkey. 6 monkey. What does that stand for? January 24th, which is corresponding to January 22nd, when the comet 3I Atlas is in a 90-degree angle with Jupiter on the other side of the sun, with all the other planets on the other side.
Okay, so you have 6 monkey here, and then that's why you marked it here.
See, I'm going down one at a time diagonally. Now we got 1 herb. I put this here because it stands for February 14th, which is Valentine's, because it's going in the numerical order 1, 2. See?
Oh, so if there's a coronal mass ejection on the 14th,
which
then...
And then you go down further to 9. There's 9 reed. See? 9 reed. 4 jaguar. Then you hit that numerical order. 12 eagle. 12 eagle, which stands for April 18th of 2026, which tells me that there's a possibility of another GMS activity going on that month and on that day of April 18th. Because that's, see, the arrow to that arrow.
Right.
And then when I'm going down, where's 12? Oh, there's 12 eagle. To 7 condor. 7 condor stands for, there it is right there. Stands for May 9th of 2026. And then you hit 2 movement. Movement is pretty obvious. 2 movement, normally movement stands that there's going to be an earthquake. That's what movement means. So more than likely there's going to be an earthquake of 7.2 or greater magnitude on that particular day of of where was I at?
Right there, the yellow one with the
Oh,
big
right here.
arrow.
Okay. On May 30th, 2026, there's more likely going to be a 7.2 magnitude earthquake because of the movement number that's on it. Then now I'm going to 10 Flint. See, there's 10 Flint. 10 Flint gives you advance notice because the next one over, there's 10
Yeah,
Flint.
you got it.
Hey, you got me all mixed up, making me get
No,
lost.
I'm just pointing
Okay.
out for the viewers where 10 Flint is.
Oh, okay. I thought I was lost. Well, 10 Flint is going to give you an advance notice that in the next Flint year, or 11 Flint, in 2036, that, let's see, what does it say here? It's the 8 on the solar chart. What do I mean by 8? It's,
Oh, this is
that
your
8
solar.
right there.
Oh, this is your solar. Okay,
That 8 right there.
I did not see that. Okay.
It stands for that. See the 8 that I started at 8 rabbit?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right here is this 8. Now watch the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, wait. Where did I start at? 8. Oh,
So
8.
that's 8 rabbit right there.
Okay, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Which there's going to be a solar storm at 2039. That's how I know.
Okay, so there's going to be like a large, like a coronal mass ejection on that date, is what you're saying.
That's the one that's saying 13. It's telling you there's a 13 window you got to get ready. But then you hit the 0, and that one is 2028. What is 2028 trying to show you? 2028 is that number I showed you where there's no remainders. 0, 0.
So
When
in the
Pleiades is directly overhead.
in the previous video to this, the 45-minute video on the Mayan prophecies, this is the math that you talked about.
I'm dissecting it for you to understand.
So 156 times 13, you came out with 2028, and there was no remainders.
And then 2028, right where that 0 is with that little red dot in it. 2028. And why is that important? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to that other 0.
Yep.
And then to the beginning of another 11-year solar cycle, which hits that 1 again, which is the same place where that geomagnetic storm is to occur.
Or the coronal mass ejection.
So you can see now how my solar chart is working kind of in conjunction with this. So I went from 2 movement, and I went over here to 11 Flint, and then 5 rain is right here, and then the last one, which is really surprising me because that's what got my interest, is 13 flower. And on 13 flower, there's another one of these, which that means August 1st of 2026 is more likely going to be another geomagnetic storm activity.
CME.
Going on August 1st, which will be right here on this 13 rain, which is ironic because if you go to 13 rain, it's the last date on the sacred calendar before it starts all over again. Back to everything starting to number 1.
So the 260-day calendar is cyclical. So for those who have never seen the 260-day calendar, you basically start at the top there where it says 1 alligator. You go all the way down 20 days to 7 flower, and then you go back up to the top where it says 8 alligator, and then you go down all the way to the bottom, and so on. You just repeat that cycle until you get to the end, 13 flower, and then you repeat. You start all over again at 1 alligator.
Which brings us back to this year count thing again.
Right. And the 260-day calendar is a 52-year cycle, and then they observe 13 days that are not named on this. They're just 13 days that are observed. Those are the leap days. And then everything is realigned with the Pleiades being directly overhead at midnight at its zenith point, and then Venus in the underworld, and then Venus rises as morning star. So that day is actually one read, which is right here. And so from that, you can extrapolate the year count. So the quick shortcut is you can use the yardstick method, or you can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We could do this on another presentation.
Okay. Sorry, there's people who are like I'm trying to catch people up.
There's another video they can watch and it explains all this. We already did this before.
Yeah, if you guys want to know more about that, go to Carl Crusher's video. Yeah, that was an hour. I was gonna say that was an hour video. So.
Because I'm still trying to stay on my train of thought and you.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so now we have the year count right here.
One rabbit, back to that.
Okay.
One rabbit here, which is telling you there's a 13-year stretch. There's that 13 here. Here's the 13 down here. And then when you get down to this action down here, you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me see what I do this. Where's one rabbit? There it is. Oh, let me see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should be coming to 11 Flint.
That's where you are,
Raj.
Raj.
Oh, there it is right here, 11 Flint.
That's where you are. You are on 11 and Flint.
Why am I at 11 Flint? Because this is going to tell me that there is only the last part of this 3, what would you call that? A 3-year window before it gets to here, which means that 11 Flint is 2036, 37, 38, and it does it again, 2039. And what do I have over here when the whole thing starts again here at 8:42 and one read? 2038, 2039.
Right.
And the entire whole thing starts all over again.
The 52-year cycle, yes.
Mm-hmm. Like
and
you were talking
solar.
about that one read that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And then it starts all over again, and it goes in here. It has to go all the way back to where we're at over here. So basically what I'm doing here is showing you with my solar charts, showing you with the year count of the Aztec year count that's tied to it, tied to the actual 260-day calendar, tied to my 10-year solar storm chart that I created, which is made of 10 rows sideways, 90 rows going down, in other words, 90 years. For some odd reason, everything works out to 90, which is really weird because I got this from 90 degrees, believe it or not. Like 180 degrees, 190 degrees, 45 degrees, for angles and for circles. And I got them off petroglyphs from looking at the petroglyphs, which is weird because I didn't get it out of science books. I got it off of petroglyphs. But it's tied to this 90 degrees. How do I know that? In 2026, if you minus 90 from that, it'll take you to 1936. What happened in 1936? The same planetary alignment that's going on right now occurred in 2036. You just got to go at 90 years back. And, it'll repeat the cycle. So basically, what I'm showing you here was my research notes, because if you notice that they're not nice and pretty like on a word processor or my Word document. But this is basically the layout of my research notes of how I'm keeping track of everything. As we're going through lining, the activities here and trying to coordinate it to see what the geomagnetic storms are doing and when they're going to occur.
The coronal mass ejections, yes.
And not only the GMSs that are here, but how they affect the Earth and when it creates earthquakes by movement dates and this herb date.
Yeah, because I know the sun definitely
volcanoes
affects,
and that's earthquakes.
Yeah, the sun definitely affects the Earth, and so there's it causes earthquakes.
Not only that,
and human conflict.
The human resonance not only affects the Earth, it affects us humans because we're tied to the Earth and we don't even realize it because we're so disconnected. We're so socially programmed. We're so dummied down that we have no idea that everything that's going on with the sun and the earth is also going on with us as a society. Everything we do is going to be reflected in the earth. If you're peaceful, the earth is going to be peaceful. If you're raising hell and rioting and starting to go to war, it creates movement in society. The societal has an earthquake, which creates a physical earthquake. But now we'll go to the text. See, now you see how I'm doing my research notes. Now I'm going to go to my solar storm thing here, and step by step, I think I even have my little, well, there it is. And I'll just do the first one, because after that I don't need to go through all of them to show you, because you just need to go through the first steps to see how I'm doing this. And if you want to, you could.
So this is going over the math.
And I'll explain. Let's start out. What did I put in the beginning? Calculating geomagnetic storms from 2024 to 2039 by you know who. Biggest solar storm 100 in 100 years. Will it hit Earth? That's what I put there to answer that question. The equation to calculate geomagnetic storms. Number 156 is the number is used to calculate the year, and 364 is used to calculate the months and the days. Remember I told you about 364 going from 1 to 1 to 1 to calculate the annular star, which we use the Pleiades. So it'll always be on 1, it'll always be the Pleiades, the Pleiades, the Pleiades, the Pleiades, the Pleiades, the Pleiades. So it's correlated to that.
So the Pleiades being directly overhead at midnight. Okay.
Okay, now you know that one. Okay, so what I did is the Geo 26 divided by 16 equals 165. Oh, okay, I got it. And I don't know why I wrote Geo on there. Maybe I made a mistake on writing. You're right about that typo, now that you mention it. Okay, anyway, it's still the numbers are right. It's the number that we've been showing you on the astronomy class. 26, I don't know if you can see it here.
Yep, you got 26.
26, and then you divide it by 16, gives you 1625, the golden mean ratio.
Okay.
Now you times it by 2, times 2, gives you 3.25. 3.25 pi. Now you take pi and you times it by 24, which is the number for the Earth, the longitude lines. Gives you 78. 78 stands for the Schumann resonance, which is used for lightning and electricity. The Schumann resonance is represented by Chalk, who represents the god of rain, thunder, and lightning. And what is the Schumann monitoring? Lightning. So Chalk represents the Schumann resonance. So you take the Schumann resonance, or 78, and which is over here, and you times it by 2. Times 2. Which gives you that number, 156. See?
Okay, and so that's the foundation number that you're using to calculate when all these CMEs are happening.
Yeah,
it's the coronal mass ejections.
It's the key to calculating the geomagnetic storms. If you don't have that key, you're not going to get anywhere. You need the key. So now that we know that's the key, and now I went to 156, the underlined magnetic scale to be used from 0 to the numbers to 13. Why did I say 13 to 0? It's important because when you're doing the calculations, anything that's 13 and below is more likely going to be the 3 digits that are on the end on this side. Anything that's 13 and above are going to be the 3 digits you find going to the other side. So that's above 13 on that thing. So, okay, now let's get here to 2024. Now we know it's 156 where I left off, and now I'll go times 12.98. Like I said, the scale is 13. 1298 corresponds to the moment in time that we're in right now, because we're not to, the 13 yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. That's why 1298. And what does it equal? 2024.88. 2024.88.
So that's the year 2024.
There's the year.
Okay.
Now you see that 88? You take off the decimal point. It's important. Don't put in the decimal point. Take off the decimal point and go to 88. So when you go to 88, remember I told you that 364 for the Pleiades, for the annular star?
Yeah.
Divided by 364 gives me that 24175824175. Okay, 24175 by all the way. See, same number.
Yep.
The last three digits give you the month and day. 175.
And you had said in the previous video that it's the numbers that repeat.
Mm-hmm. The three-digit numbers that repeat.
When you look at the number 175, and
175,
then there's some numbers,
175.
and then 175.
You take that 175, and you take it over there, and what is it? You take the first 17, that stands for the 17th day right there, and the 5 at the end stands for the 5th month, which stands for May, which means May 17th, 2024 is going to be a geomagnetic storm.
So another coronal mass ejection.
Mm-hmm. So that's the process of how I'm coming up with the years and how I can come up to an actual time of the day
and so you checked this and you were able to basically calculate the exact day for even when the Carrington event happened.
Yeah, modern man hasn't even done this yet. They should learn because it comes in handy.
Okay,
now that I gave you the process, now this is the one that's 284 divided by 364. And it gives you that the second day in the first of the month. And that means 284. Well, let's see. Let me start with this over again. Because we'll do something that's right up to date.
Oh, okay. To
now
today's
that I
dates.
showed you the steps, we won't have to go through the 325 and the 165 now that you know what that is. Now that you know that it's 156 now. 156. Okay, now you got 156, and now you times it by 112.989.
Because we haven't reached 13 on the sacred calendar yet. That's why you're doing that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we did that. 156 times, what did I say it was? Oh.
12.989.
989. Okay. See, there's a 12.89. Why do I use that little 9 at the end? Because it's at the end of this 11-year solar cycle. So what I'm trying to do is figure out when is the last geomagnetic storm of this 11-year cycle is before the next one begins on the next 11-year cycle. So now we got that out of the way. We go equals 2026, the year in right now. And where does it come to? It comes out to 0.284.
Okay, so the math.
So there's 284.
Oops.
Now you divide it by that. Oh, I forgot. Got to clear it first. 284, because I got to take off the decimal. I'm breaking my own rule. And then you divide it by 364. And then, let's see where it is at.
You come up with
07802, blah, 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 so forth, and all that, blah, 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 so forth. So it's going, you find that 2102, which is the second day in the first month of January, gives you an advance notice of the 11-year cycle that's coming up. But which is weird about this one, to find the numbers that you're looking for over here, it's more likely going to be there and there, because there's those 3 digits, the 3 digits. You
Okay.
see?
Yeah, I see that.
2 stands for the second day of January.